Have you ever been to a concert and listened to the recording of an old rock group and wondered how the sound are made from electric guitar or bass? Well, it's a simple process once you break down all the parts. The sound starts when the strings are hit and made to vibrate. These vibrations form a very small magnetic field that the electronic pickups pick up and process into a digital signal. That digital signal is then sent to the amplifier. The sound coming from the amplifier is what you hear at a concert or in a recording. That sound can be manipulated and changed depending on hundreds of variables, from the strings down to the type of amp. Musicians and bass players specifically are very careful when buying new equipment to get that perfect sound. All the variations and manipulations are generally related to the tone. The tone is how high or low the note will sound when played through an amp or speaker. A bass guitar amp is categorized by the number of speakers or subwoofers, the amount of watts, and the type of preamp. The different size speakers can range anywhere from 3 to 18 inches. A 10-inch speaker will generally give you very clean mids and highs, but weak lows. On the other hand, a 15 and 18-inch speaker would have the opposite, very strong lows with weak mids and highs. The number of watts basically determines the power of the amp. Generally, a smaller beginner practice amp will have 10 watts, and the amp used for live shows will have anywhere from 500 to 2,000 watts. Another device inside the amp that helps shape the shaping process is the preamp. There are three different types of preamps. Two preamps, which are made from older technology and they magnify the sound. Solid state, which is the newest type of technology that amplifies the sound, and a combination of both, which mixes both technologies together. The three types of preamps all have controls. Generally, these controls are in the form of knobs. There are three knobs that will control one of each. One will control the mids, the highs, and the lows. If you wanted your amp to have very rich low notes, you would turn the lows up and the mids and the highs down, and so on and so forth. Along with the amp and the preamp, the types of string you use on the type of strings you use on your bass can affect the tone. Generally, a string is made out of steel round or hexagon shaped core, which is then wrapped with nickel round wire. Then there's a bunch of non-traditional strings. The non-traditional strings can give you a different sound and a different tone. One of the non-traditional strings is a coated string. The coated string has a very thin layer of plastic that keeps oil and other tarnishing agents from tarnishing your string. Coated strings can also have different colors to them. The different colors don't do anything for your tone, but make the string actually thicker and can make it lower. Another type of string are flat wound strings. Flat wound strings, like the traditional strings, have the round core, but then instead of a round wrapped wire, they have a flat wrap wire, which makes them very smooth and very thick, which gives them very low tones. As the string vibrates, it gives off a miniature magnetic field. The pickups pick up on that note. The pickups do that through magnets. And there's two different types of pickups. One where the magnets are powered, these are called active pickups, and one where the magnets aren't active and are called passive. The active pickups generally are battery run with 1 or 2 9-volts hidden inside, and these make up for 65% of the basses produced today. The active pickups also have an extra onboard preamp. That preamp will help narrow down the tone even further. The passive have no batteries, and they basically only have a volume control. But the type of pickups that you have installed and the amps that power your bass isn't what make you a great player. It takes years of experience and practice and technique. It was once said that a musician is a lot like a carpenter or any other craftsman. The quality doesn't lie in the tools, but in the experience of hand.